Hello treacle tarts, welcome back to Self-Love September on my channel. Today I've moved some other videos in the series aside so I can do something different that I wasn't expecting to do but that I really feel very moved to do, and that is to read some of your answers to the question, tell me one thing you love about yourself. I asked this question over on Facebook. I posted a meme asking exactly that question, and some of the answers that, as I was sort of scrolling through them, were making me feel so emotional, so overwhelmed, so eager to talk about some of the things people had said and to think about how those things apply to me. Do I love those things about myself? Are those things that I share in common with people or not? And just also to encourage people here on YouTube who might not follow me on Facebook to do the exact same thing, to decide what is one thing at least that you do love about yourself and share it in the comments. I think this is a very simple idea that really went a long way for me emotionally, and so I really wanted to share it with everybody and get more perspectives and get more things that people love about themselves. I want to know. I want you to tell me what you love about yourselves. So I'm going to read through some of the answers, have some responses. I don't know what those responses are going to be. I'm going to talk a bit about myself. I'm going to talk a bit about self-love as a concept, how it can be put into your everyday life in practical ways. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm very interested to see. By the way, for those who follow the Blessed Holy Mother Mary, welcome to Mary's birthday, 8th of September. If you are watching this on the 8th of September, I've got my beautiful bracelet on here with the Mother Mary on it. And I do have Mother Mary pendants and stuff like that and rosaries. I should be wearing a rosary right now. What is going on? Hang on. Let me fix that. Nearest rosary. And you know it's actually within reach as well. I can literally reach over and grab it. It's right here. I got it from the Basilica of St. Nicholas in Amsterdam. And I love the cross. It's this very abstract looking cross, which is very cool. I'll just put it against the black so you can see it properly. Isn't that stupendous? So let me pop this on. Happy birthday, Mary. Cheers very much, love, for being such a goddamn beautiful being. I literally love that even as I was putting a rosary on and saying thank you to Mother Mary for existing in our collective consciousness, I said God damn. That is absolutely classic Maddox. Okay, let's get into this. Let me read some of these answers to the question, what is one thing you love about yourself? This one I can definitely relate to myself, no problem at all. It says, I'm very hospitable, strong mama bear energy. I've got your back, plus I'm making tea. That's actually a rap, that rhymes. Strong mama bear energy, I got your back, plus I'm making tea. I love that, that rolls off the tongue. It's got a very rhythmic delivery. I totally relate to this, and you know what? I've had such a struggle over the last maybe couple of years as I've been exploring more the whole concept of giving and the kind of Queen of Cups energy and how it relates to tendencies to overgive or to give in a toxic way. And I did make a video about overgiving, and I will leave that down below, the archetype of the giver or the nurturer and tendencies to overgive. I do have a big mama bear energy. I am very maternal. I am somebody that wants to provide a listening ear. I do want to provide a lot of space. I want to hold a lot of space, I mean. And I've been on a journey with that, as I think a lot of people that follow me can kind of understand what I mean, or at least I felt from the comments underneath my video about overgiving that a lot of people were very empathetic to the situation I was going through at the time and the thoughts I was having about my mama bear energy, my instinct to care and to make tea and, you know, just to listen and to make sure that somebody feels okay and is listened to and is heard. One of the most self-loving parts of this whole equation for me is coming to terms with the fact that that's not going to change. That thing about me, that thing about my character is not going to change. And I think I had to come to a point where I was seriously asking myself, do I want it to change? Is it something that I actually want to change about myself and think should fundamentally change? Even if I can or not, just put that aside for a moment and think, do you want to? Do you want to change the fact that you are a giver, a nurturer, and that is a lot of what you are known for? And I don't really want to change that. I think I just need to have, you know, obviously these boundaries around it, these parameters around it, making sure that it's not something that I'm fucking myself over with and that I'm also not smothering somebody else with, you know? So there is definitely this dialogue that I've been having with myself. And I think that that is, like I said, something that some people that watch my channel can relate to, which has been amazing because I appreciate the empathy, guys. I really do. I love this one. I am talented with and have a passion for both visual and written art. I'm growing as an artist right now in some very cool ways and gestating future work about my life as a mum. I'm also an exceptional non-traditional student kicking serious ass in the academic department with my 4.0. I love, 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 love that. And I already love reacted it. This one is so great. I love the fact that this person has highlighted that they are non-traditional in the learning department. That's really good, because I think a lot of people give themselves a very hard time for not doing things in a traditional way, not being able to maybe connect with their studies in the same way as others do, or in fact being an autodidact, somebody who is self-taught, somebody who did not go through institutionalized training for something, but does have a great deal of knowledge on it and can hold a conversation about it, or maybe even has gone into that field or industry. I do think that there's more than one way to skin a cat, and it's a very un-vegan way of saying it. I don't know why I keep using that. I never want to skin a cat. Where did that fucking come from, that saying? I demand to know who started that. Repulsive. But yeah, there's more than one way. There's more than one way to pet a cat. And, you know, I think that we need to be more sort of broadly embracing of that. That's part of the self-love journey for many a person. And I really love as well that this person has said, I'm growing as an artist in some very cool ways. That could be a mantra for some people today. If you know that you need to say to yourself, breathe in, breathe out, and say to yourself, I'm growing as an artist in some very cool ways, then say that. Let that be your mantra for today, your self-love mantra. I love that idea. This comment is absolutely the shit, okay? It's in two parts, and both parts are equally cool, but they're both very different. And the first part made the second part kind of unexpected, but yet also rivetingly appropriate. It says here, I try to be kind to people, regardless of religious or political persuasion. I also sculpt monsters and dinosaurs. I love this person. Who is this person? Can they come to tea? After my mum passed away recently, I sat in therapy talking about how much my grief feels like it has swallowed me. My therapist looked at me and said, some people are born with an astoundingly resilient spirit. You are one of those people. It's always been hard for me to believe people when they tell me things like this, but somehow I believed her. And I love that about myself. Well, it's happened. The waterworks are on. Thank you for that comment. That's fucking beautiful. I don't think I really let it hit me when I read it the first time. I'm so glad we're doing this, aren't you guys? Oh dear. Oh, that's lovely. That's beautiful. Can't say fairer than that. If anybody really relates to that comment and really feels that somebody told them that they were resilient, that they were strong in the face of great pain and adversity, and that is something about them that, you know, not everybody has, or not everybody exhibits all of the time, and they really took that to their heart, or maybe you didn't take it to your heart, but maybe you are now taking it to your heart in this moment and you're letting it be medicinal. Please, if you feel like sharing any slice of your story down below, if you feel brave enough to do that, please do. I would love to read more of those kinds of stories. I think they are so heartening, so inspiring to me, and they're a big part of the reason that I do what I do, that I want to talk to people about their lives, what they've been through, what they fight with every day, you know, what they have come to the other side of, what they are battling through in this moment. It is very heartening for me, and it gives me hope, and it's a very beautiful part of a lot of the conversations I have every day, the messages that I read, etc. So that's a really, really beautiful, beautiful one. I love my brain. There's no denying that it's taken me to some dark places, but it's also allowed me to learn so much and teach so much even. And I actually posted an applause emoji and a heart face emoji when I read this one, because I relate to this one deeply. And the main reason that I relate to it deeply is because of my battle with depression, my battle with psychosis, my ongoing battle with depression, with psychosis and with eating issues. That's something that I've come to the other side of. But with the depression, you know, that is something that recurs, and that's something that can recur sort of like semi-regularly, different sort of periods of time, different extremes, different sort of layers of extreme. But I really feel like what part of my self-love journey, and I think a lot of people will relate to this if you struggle with depression, is really coming to understand what it has given me, the silver lining to it, anything advantageous about it that I can find. And I think when I'm in the lowest pit of it, that does seem quite ridiculous to think of it as being advantageous. But even when I can't take it from head to heart, there is some part of me intellectually that knows that a lot of the most beautiful things about my character have been informed by the lowest and darkest places that I go. And so for that alone, I just have to be grateful. So that's why I really do relate to that one. That's one that I certainly do love about myself. And I love about myself the fact that I have been able to think that. Because quite honestly, if you've never been to the lowest pit of like a long-term depressive episode, feels like it's never going to end, then maybe you will not be able to connect potentially as much with what I'm saying in this regard, or maybe you could just take your understanding of it to the lowest point you've been in some way. But if you can really find the kernel of light in that and take it to your heart, that's worth loving about yourself. Love that about yourself, for fuck's sake. Love it about yourself. Even if other people around you that you've taken to your heart, that you've opened up to, don't understand it or love it about you, or they've completely overridden the fact that that is something about you that is worth loving. Never mind them. Never mind what it is that they don't value in you. You value that in you. That is a very, very potent thing. We should all love that about ourselves, that we can find hope in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless place. Is that Rihanna? It's a fucking tune. That is a straight banger. I'm not gonna lie. Found love in a hopeless place. Stop it, Kelly. Stop it now. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. It says, I love how I allow music to make me feel with no restraint, just plunging into feeling. Yes. Same. Absolutely the same. I'm not, do you know what? First of all, I'm not ashamed of my emotions. Obviously, from this video. I'm putting this video out on the internet. I guess I can't be that ashamed of my emotions. But also, I feel that I'm so glad that I allow myself to feel so much about the stuff that makes me happy, the stuff that makes me overjoyed, the greatness of art. And yeah, I also am happy that I let anything plunge me to depths, and it will be anything. I just let something take me on a ride. I do not want the train to stay on the platform. I want to go. I want it to affect me. My best friend bought me some Rocket 5 speakers for my birthday a couple of years ago. They are really amazing, very high quality speakers. They're fucking lovely. And after this video finishes, I'm going to whack The Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd on and lie down and just let it wash over me like a lunar bath. Oh my God, darling, I can't wait. Might have a bit of a sob, and who cares? I'm a legend for that. I'm actually really proud of the mum I am. I grew up in a really unhealthy situation, and my children have allowed me to heal and grow and ultimately become the person I always needed when I was little to them. Super cathartic. What a beautiful comment. What a beautiful reason to love yourself. And yeah, all good vibes to you and your children. And I'm so, so happy that you managed to decondition and heal. And, you know, although it's wonderful for you to give your children credit for being that catalyst, that force in your life, you must also, of course, recognise how unbelievably strong you have been, not to repeat some of those patterns and to be so conscious of wanting to move them into a situation that is so much more nurturing than the situation that you grew up in. That's amazing. What an amazing comment. And I think that people watching this, a lot of them will relate to that. I choose to wake up every day thankful and happy. I've made my life into something beautiful and something I can be proud of. It took a lot of love, acceptance, forgiveness, kindness, and a whole bunch of shadow work. I also try to see the best in everyone else. That's beautiful. I love my determination and my strength. I struggle and I always seem to get back up. I also love my growth and my perseverance. I love how hard I'm trying to break these generational cycles that do not serve anymore. This shit isn't for the faint of heart, but I know it's for our greatest good. And I can tell you from knowing a little something about the person that posted that particular comment that is 100% legit down to the bone. This person is doing the work. I know that a lot of people that watch my channel are going to relate to this next comment. It says that I have allowed the bullying I endured as a child to make me a better person and not a bitter person. Far more compassionate than I likely would have been. Certainly stronger. I think that when you can take your experiences of bullying to that place, that is strength. That is so fucking beautiful. I love that comment. Love it. Somebody's written here, I'm excitable. I'm excitable is a reason why they love themselves. And I will say that I feel the same way, and I love my excitability. I'm very easily pleased. That's something I always say about myself. I'm very easily pleased. A morning walk, a fresh drink, a lovely sleep. Yeah, I just, you know, emojis. I'm so excitable when the new emoji pack comes out. It's out on WhatsApp web right now, but not on my phone. And I'm like, oh my God, there's an ice cube. There's a little, like, there's a cutthroat razor. There's falafel. When's the falafel coming onto my phone? I mean, it's just a fucking emoji pack, but I just get so excited. Or like if I find a lip balm that I'd lost in my bag for ages, I'm like, oh my God, it's here. It's in this bag. Oh, I've been looking for this for, oh, I love this one. This one's tangerine flavour. I love it. Yeah, I'm very excitable. I'm very excitable now looking at my teeny tiny tarot. Come on, it's just the little simple things in life, you know? Or my unicorn lighter that I got in Amsterdam. It's so cute. Oh, this one taps into my shadow a bit. It says, my resourcefulness. I can usually find a solution to most problems. I think that I struggle to think that about myself. I think I often feel like I'm very trapped underneath certain problems I have that I can't figure out, or that I need somebody else who's bigger and stronger and more clever to deal with. I do not think of myself as resourceful. I very much downplay that part of my character, I think. And so that's a very useful comment for me, because I'm like, okay, I need to maybe work on that. I need to think about that. Why do I do that? And where can I see where my resourcefulness is? I might not necessarily be always the most resourceful person. I'm certainly not the most logical person in any given group at any time. I'm probably going to be amongst the least sort of engineer brained, you know what I mean? More of an artist brain. But I do think that there's certain things there that I can love and appreciate about myself that I perhaps don't, because I've got just this narrative about me, you know? And I think that's maybe an invitation for us all now doing this together, listening to these comments and taking them to heart and thinking about how we think and feel about them, to do the work of asking ourselves, where is the story very much set up already in my mind about who I am, what I can do, what I love about myself and what I don't? And how can I get it to the point where that's not the story anymore? Why does that need to be the story? Does it, in fact, need to be the story? And if not, you know, what can I do to make the story different? What's the story, morning glory? Do you know what? Look, I'm just going to say something about me that some of you may not know, because I'm not sure how much I've done it in videos before, but I am that person that will just break into song if something I say reminds me of a song lyric. And I got this habit from my mother. And I used to really dislike it when she would do it. I mean, I disliked it because she did it in conversation sometimes when I was trying to say something a little serious. And I'd be like, you're interrupting with your bloody lyric. But I'm sure that by now I have probably done that to somebody else, because I am turning into my mother. And it's no bad thing, Mum, if you're watching, by the way. But yeah, so just to let you know, for some reason I'm doing that a lot this morning, and hopefully you guys can love that about me, because I've had to learn to love it about me, because I apparently can't help it. I love that I've allowed myself to keep pushing boundaries and breaking societal norms. I was a mum at 16. I graduated top 5% of my class. I married at 18, and I'm still, by the way, married to the father of our kids. I got through multiple deadly deployments while he was on active military duty without us falling apart. Living with several autoimmune diseases, continuing college in my 30s with both of our daughters, and landing my dream job finally at 37. I'm fucking proud as fuck of me. I'm going to keep them guessing and keep their heads ringing, so every time I have statistics thrown at me, I can throw that curveball back at the naysayers. This witch is pulling an ace of wands all day, all night. God, that makes me feel so fizzy. What an awesome comment. What an awesome answer to the question, what is one thing you love about yourself? Oh my goddess, I love this one. When I find cat puke on the rug, I check on my cat before I clean it up. It's simple, it's practical, but it demonstrates something important about who you are as a person. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm sure your cat loves it too. Oh, this one gets me in the shadow. This one, it says, my ability to stay loyal to myself no matter what. I don't like it when I struggle with that one. And I don't like it when I don't know if I'm struggling with it or not. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out if loyalty to myself is pursuing what is making me feel good in that moment, what I most desire in that moment, what is presenting itself to me in the moment that could be potentially harmful for me emotionally later. I can't decide sometimes where, like, I want to be loyal to myself. My loyalty does lie with me. But sometimes I think I don't want to know the answer as to what loyalty really would mean for me. If I was going to be loyal to myself right now in this situation, what would that mean? Maybe sometimes I don't always want to know the answer to that. Does that make sense to anyone else? You know, the way I'm explaining it? Because that definitely, I had a shadow reaction to that, my ability to stay loyal to myself no matter what. I think that's an incredible answer to the question, and it's a beautiful answer to the question, but it's something that I would like to reflect on more and meditate on more, because I'm realizing that's coming up for me in my self-love journey this year, for definite. So that's a gift. It's a gift that I've had that reaction, and I take note of that reaction and I say to myself, okay, that's something to be worked on and reflected on. What does that mean that when loyalty to self comes up, there's an issue there, there's a block, or there's a wound there, there's a bit of soreness, there's a bit of damaged tissue around those particular words and the associations you have with them. The strength of my bond to the moon, and with that, my honest inner unbotheredness with people discarding that as superstition. Oh, this is big. This is a really fizzy one. There's a lot to sort of sink your teeth into with this one, because I think a lot of people that watch my channel and connect with my message are very much either going through that journey of having to let go of what other people think of what they're doing spiritually, how they relate to the world, theories that they have, beliefs that they have, or they have let go and they've just sort of pushed off. I'm not saying everybody had those issues and was bothered by those things, but a lot of people were, either because they come from a religious background or they come from a very secular background, and in one way or another their beliefs are not respected in some way or bother the people that are around them in some way. So I think that's a very interesting one to think on. Going on a journey to embrace your spiritual beliefs and to give yourself permission to have access to those spiritual beliefs and to how healing they are for you, how beneficial they are for you, and how you can see those benefits in your external life. You can see them evidenced in your reality. All of that is so self-loving. It's such a big chalice of self-love just pouring all over you. So I definitely think there are so many people that can relate to that to one degree or another, who are letting themselves own how they feel in their spiritual journey, and really just like giving themselves access to those theories or those practices that really make sense to them and give them a deep down feeling of nurturing in the core. You know, why not give yourself that feeling? I've had a bit of pushback on my channel for various things that I believe, and the main pushback that I tend to experience with regard to things like that is being asked for proof, being asked to prove things. And there is no burden of proof upon me, because I'm not trying to sell this idea to anybody else. You know, I'm not trying to start a cult and go down to Guyana and get everybody's life savings. I am just simply talking about my own lived tradition. So to me, I always put that back on the other person, and I'm always like, look, I'm here talking about what I believe, what my practices are. You can listen or don't listen, but I'm not trying to sell it to you. So I shouldn't have to sell you the justification for why I believe it. This is just what works for me. And if you have shadow around that, if it somehow agitates you to the point of leaving me a shitty comment, then I would argue that that's your work, and I would put that back on you, and wish that you would hope that you would do that work. You know, do that work, come to the other side of it, ask yourself why it bugs you so much that I'm just living my spiritual life in this way. Who am I hurting? If anything, it's made me so much a better person. It's inspired me so much. It's healed me so much. It's allowed me to live with depression. It's allowed me to go through heartbreak. It's allowed me to go through grief, mental health issues, with a lot more sturdiness and with a lot more of a sense that I have resources, I have tools. Can you resent that? Do you resent that? Because that's the real lived experience. Never mind what it is I believe about following the moon or doing magic or, you know, working with a goddess, whatever it is that bugs you, that gets up your nose. Let's talk about the lived reality for me of doing that. And the lived reality is so positive. It's so beautiful that, you know, if that's what you're riling against, really, when you put the other stuff down, then I don't know, I guess I'm sorry. Sucks to be you. Haters gonna hate. Excuse me. I have some haters' tears here. Oh, they're fizzy. Oh, lovely. They really go with the grapefruit. Lovely. Hate fruit. Just have a little juice with hate fruit. I am a sensitive person. It makes something so hard, and everyone thinks being sensitive is weak, but for me, it's a strength. I love that. Ooh, that makes me think about the 2 videos I've done on empathic ability. I'll leave the second one down below because the first one no longer really reflects how I feel. But the second one was sort of an exploration, moving on more into experiencing some degree of what I can describe as empathic experiences myself. I choose not to describe myself as an empath per se. but I've certainly had some of those experiences, I think. And I was talking in that second video, I think I was anyway, I've got a memory of talking about it, about how we often frame the dialogue around empathic ability in terms of the weakness of it, the inconvenience of it, the fear of it, the annoyance and how much it drains us and everything else. I don't think we talk that often about the strength and about how it's a superpower, and about how if we put parameters and boundaries around it and we decide more consciously what our mindset is around it and how we intend to walk through the world with these kinds of abilities or experiences, then why can't it be seen as a strength? Why do we have to frame it as a weakness quite so often? So that kind of taps into that for me, the idea that sensitivity can be somehow just this incredible portal into aspects of reality that you wouldn't otherwise have. And it's a little bit like what I was saying earlier about recognizing your depression or your mental health struggles, your pain, as one of the things that has created, that has sculpted some of the most beautiful parts of you, some of the most lovable and admirable parts of you. It's a bit like that too. It's thinking about what you struggle with and then thinking to yourself, wow, well, that's really strengthened me. That's really crafted me into something better and into something that I can really look at and say, yeah, you know what? I love you. I love what it is that you've become. I love what it is that you're doing. There are so many experiences that people have in their lives where they don't feel like they received the level of sensitivity that they wanted to have around an issue that they were explaining, a problem that they were opening up about, And to me, I just feel that if you've got that degree of sensitivity, yes, of course, there are shadow aspects to it. Yes, of course, it can be scary, it can be inconvenient. But imagine the degree of sensitivity, the degree of compassion that you can offer to somebody who needs to be vulnerable in front of someone. And no, it shouldn't just be framed as if you're sensitive, you have the ability to give. But I think for me, that's one of the main places that it goes, probably because of what I do for a job, probably because I spend all day talking to people, doing readings for people, talking about their deep-seated issues and really sort of like, having a back and forth, having a chat, essentially, is what I do. I chat with people who feel like I might be useful to them in holding space and giving insight. I can tart it up in all kinds of different ways online. I can, sort of describe it in all these lovely ways. But essentially what I'm doing is having a chat. And my sensitivity is connected directly, I think, to my empathy. I'm not going to get it right always 100% of the time. I'm not perfect. I'm not superhuman. But I definitely think there's a connection there. So that really interests me. I'm sensitive to energy. I'm sensitive to the dynamics between people. I'm sensitive to what's going on in a room. I might not always know exactly what is going on. If somebody's being very secretive and they're holding back and they don't want to tell me what they think or feel, then I might sense that there is a stodgy energy. There is something going on that is a bit weird. And I put some measure of responsibility, of course, onto the other person to express what is going on with them. I can't work with a energy that is covered or that is deceptive all the time, that, where the other person doesn't want to actually just address what's going on. But I know something weird is going on, and I think a lot of people are the same. They can feel into it. Usually with me, what I do is I go to that person or those people and say, hey, can we open up about what is happening here? Because I'm very much that way. I am highly communicative. And that's something that I love about myself at the moment this year, despite the inconvenience it's caused to others or the fear that it brings up in others. I think that's something else too. Sorry, my mind's sparking at 100 miles an hour right now. That's definitely something that I will say as well, is that I've had to let myself love that about myself, even though not everybody loves it about me. And some people would rather be quiet and not talk about whatever it is that's going on with them. If I do think I've gotten it right and I know what's happening and I'm very sensitive to the energy or the situation, so I'm telling myself I know exactly what's happening, I do lovingly try to remind myself that that might be coming from just my reading of the situation through my lens. It might be coming from my paranoia. It might be coming from insecurities I have about myself or preconceptions I have about the other people involved. And that's something that I think is part of the self-love journey with being highly sensitive as well. Is basically recognizing, okay, look, yeah, you are highly sensitive. You definitely are tapped into something, but are you filling in way too many gaps with your own perception of what's happening without information? And it's just about lovingly doing that, rather than lovingly telling myself that, reminding myself of that, rather than being very harsh with myself about it. I love the way I manage to witness and point out the beauty that we are a part of. I think that that is a beautiful one because sometimes it can be very hard to do. And I love that about myself as well. And it kind of goes back to a previous thing about being excitable. I feel like I'm glad that I can see so much beauty and so much sparkly gorgeousness in just even the smallest of things that other people quite often overlook. And I think that's very much a part of being a witch, actually. It's a part of being connected to nature's cycles, and it's a part of recognizing that I'm just a drop in the big river of consciousness. And so, you know, that's more to do, I suppose, with the spiritual aspect of self rather than technically being a witch. But I have noticed that it's a quality that a lot of witches have, that they can just be very, very sort of stunned and awe-inspired with that, you know, mysterious, esoteric joy of even the smallest little thing. You know, the veins on the back of a leaf. And with that, darlings, I would like to wish you a happy Self-Love September. I will be back with a lot more messages and videos and stuff like that. Please catch me on social media. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I'm not that active on Twitter, but if you are active on Twitter, I sometimes post on Twitter. You can book with me if you would like a mentoring session for your business, if you would like a spiritual counseling session. If you're a card slinger and you want to talk cards, then you can book with me. If you would like a reading with me, I have lots to choose from. So as always, I will leave the link to my store in the down bar below. I recently was involved in a very incredible talk about racial diversity and equality in the tarot world with a bunch of other incredible card slingers, guys. And I would like to direct you also to that video so you can give it a watch if you haven't already. It was set up by Queen Osset, also known as Oya's Girl. And it was just an incredible chat, and we're going to be having another chat in 90 days time. So I'm going to leave that down below as well, because self-love and the journey of self-love and the dialogue about self-love is not just about what we can do for ourselves as individuals, but how we can actually elevate the entire collective. And what self-love means to me, part of the conversation that we need to have around it, is not just about how it can serve me and what I need to absorb regarding it, but I need to understand what other people's barriers to self-love are. And I think lack of representation, lack of diversity, feeling sidelined, feeling marginalized, those things certainly are going to affect one's experience of attempting to love themselves in this reality. So if we're not a part of that work as well, if we're not a part of that conversation as well, that's problematic if we are saying that we think self-love is important. So please go down below and check that out as well. It's really interesting. You can also join me on Patreon now. I write love letters to my patrons. I do live streams with my patrons. There is a video poll every month, so you can choose one of the videos that I put out every single month. So depending on what tier you tap into, you can get some goodness. We are setting up a Discord at the moment, so shortly we will have a Discord where we'll all be chatting to each other. All of the Patreon tiers are going to have that over on Planet Maddox. So come over and get involved in the fun as well if you have any spare cash and you would like to be a part of the Patreon family over there. Much love and self-love, darlings. Blessed be.